Hello and welcome back to the Hype Bulletin, hosted by yours truly, Ralph Mentor. Now, if you guys are watching or listening on the YouTube side, please subscribe. Please press on that subscribe button and all. And if you guys are listening on the podcast side, please, leave us a rating or add us to your library for our future podcasts and all too as well. But I'm continuing on the story of the Boston Red Sox and their run at least and all. They just finished a rough, 9-game stretch after the All-Star break versus these playoff caliber teams in the NL and all. Started off with the Cubs, started next with the Phillies, and then finished off with the Dodgers and all, which was a nice 2-3 series win and all, because the two series prior weren't too great and all too as well. They did end up losing 2 out of 3 against the Cubs and 2 out of 3 against the Phillies in the midweek series and all. But let's detail it out with the script that I have laid out and all. So, like I said, the Boston Red Sox finished a 9-game stretch after the All-Star break versus playoff caliber NL teams. Their record was 4-5, unfortunately, and all, but finished strong, like I said earlier, by taking 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers in the last 2. Honestly, they have them going on a 2-game winning streak and all too as well. But again, their first series was against the Cubs. Fair showing from the team at least and all too as well. Wasn't a big fan of their offense at least and all, but their pitching, it felt like showed out outside of Bayo and Giolito's starts to their start, if that makes any sense at least and all, because I believe Giolito gave up some home runs in the first inning of that start on Bayo. I don't remember it being a home run, but I know he gave up some runs in the beginning innings of his start at least. Both guys finished those starts strong, but again, the early parts of those innings weren't great. Remember, like the first inning for Giolito ended up being like long as hell for that first third of the inning for him at least on too as well. So the starts of their start wasn't too great, but ended up being a better start towards the end at least all too as well. Their offense again was anemic at least in all in the first 2 games of that series, and I think they combined like 2 runs in both of those games and all. I do have to credit pitching. I think overall against the Cubs and the Phillies, you got to credit pitching and all too as well. I credit pitching more for the Phillies series at least now compared to the the Cubs series at least and all, because of Zach Wheeler honestly too as well. But sticking to the Cubs series real quick, they did lose the first 2 games of that series and all, but on Sunday you had Crochet Day and he was awesome in his 6 innings too as well. I think he won in that game and all. Bregman hit a big home run, believe in the 8th inning to basically cinch the game. I don't think they were down. I think Crochet was able to get the win there too as well, and I think the C's. Wow, that's how I'm obsessed with the Celtics at least now. But with the Red Sox at least, I believe they've won 9 out of the last 10 games that Crochet has started for them at least all too as well. I can't remember the loss there and all too as well. But again, Crochet was able to go 6 innings strong at least. I think he had like 9 strikeouts in that game too as well, honestly. And then the offense didn't show out big time at least. It's been quiet since the All-Star break and all. But Bregman hit himself a big home run for the team. I believe it was in the 8th inning at least, to cinch the game. At least had them going to Philly for that next series and all. Pitching wasn't too bad to start the series and all with Walker Buehler and all. We just seen them as Sox fans, seen them on Sunday and all, so we ain't got positive things to say right now. But I think it was last Monday at least and all. Yeah, he had a great start versus Wheeler. You can argue that he outpitched Wheeler too as well in that start and all too as well. So the Sox didn't win that game. I think they lost that 3-2, and that's the game ended with a catcher's interference, honestly, unfortunately for Narvaez and all too as well. I think it was bases loaded in the scenario, and then catcher's interference forced the batter to send them home. Send them to first base, and obviously forced the runner to come home and all too as well. So that's how that game ended too as well. It wasn't looking like a great inning anyway, but it sucks how it ended in that way, honestly, for Carlos Narvaez and all. He ended up having another catcher's interference in game 2 of that series and all too as well. It was kind of, the score was 4-1, but it kind of felt like a blowout honestly too as well, because the offense has been so anemic and all too as well. And then we go into game, Richard Fitz ended up pitching that game honestly for the Sox and all too as well. I don't think he even got out of the 4th inning of that game too as well, honestly. And again, offense has just been anemic. It was to that point at least on that series and all. They showed out, like I said earlier, in the final game against the Cubs to avoid that sweep and all too as well. But for the first 2.5 games of this series against the Phillies, the offense wasn't showing up. I think who was it? Giolito pitched on Game 3. Unfortunately, and also even though I give credit him for his bad start to his start with against the Cubs, and he was able to finish it strong, I felt like it was a quality start. I think he went 6, only gave up the 3 run, gave up the early 3 runs and all too as well. So it ended up being a quality start for him. But for this start, I don't think he got to the 4th inning or even the 5th. I don't think he got to the 4th inning and all too as well. Gave up 5 early runs and all too as well. Wasn't able to find a strike zone too as well and all with the fastball and all that type of stuff and all too as well. So the Sox were ended up being down 5-0, and I can't remember the pitcher's name they were facing against the Phillies and all too as well, but he was mowing them down and all too as well until I think it's JT Realmuto, the catcher for the Phillies and all, missed an opportunity for a pop up and all too as well. Gave Ruff Snyder an extra opportunity to get himself on base. I think he ended up walking. I think Jared Duran ended up walking after that too as well, honestly. And then Romy Gonzalez hit himself a big grand slam and all too as well to, I think, give them the lead and all. I think there were a couple things that happened before that grand slam and all too as well. I think they were able to get 2 runs. I feel like they got a couple runs onto the plate before Romy got that grand slam and all too as well and also. But a big play there too as well. Didn't cinch the game and all, because even I brought up, that's why I wanted to bring up Real Muto's name at least, and all, JT Real Muto, the catcher for the Phillies and all, because he ended up hitting the big home run to give, big home run to tie the game off of Chapman in the 8th inning and all too as well, if I remember correctly. They brought Chapman in the 8th inning, typically the closer, but it seems like Alex Cora puts Chapman in the 8th inning if it's a high leverage situation against high impact bats and all. And him being a lefty, he was facing Schruber, who's been on a run lately and all for the Phillies, but he's a lefty, former Red Sox too as well. And after that was Bryce Harper and all too as well, famed left-handed batter for the Phillies too as well, former national top, I think if not top pick, a top 3 pick in his draft way back in like 2010 or something like that, 2008 or something like that. But yeah, brought Chapman in for those batters and I was able to get those guys out. 2 outs left in that 8th inning and all, and JT Realmuto was able to hit that big home run off him to tie that game and all. After that grand slam, I think it made 6-5 and then it was a grand slam to make it 6-6 and all. The traded run, then the game ended up going to extra innings because of that game time home run by JT Realmuto and all. I think they exchanged runs in the 10th inning. Both teams ended up being 7-7 and all. And then in the 11th inning, Carlos Narvaez was able to make up for those catcher's interference and himself a big home run to make it 9-7. In the 11th inning and all. It ended up being a game-winning home run and all, but the Phillies were able to score a run, made things a little nervous in that 9th inning and all too as well, but the Sox were able to get out of Philly, avoiding the sweep and all, and ended up losing 2 out of 3 at least, and also sitting there with a 2-4 record at least and all, in the rough 9-game stretch, and they finally were able to come home and all, but they lost the first game of the series and all. Who pitched? Bayo pitched game 1 of that series. Now, I thought he pitched pretty well. Honestly, I'm not going to knock him for those cheap hits that those Dodgers got in that game and all too as well. They were able to run his pitch count high. He was able to get out of those situations and all too as well. Only gave up 3 runs and all too as well. And that 2 runs, I think, and all in that situation, because it was a big 3-run home run by Teoscar Hernandez in the 8th or 7th inning and all too as well, off of Kala, that kind of cinched the game for the Dodgers and all too as well. I think he gave up 3 runs actually, and then it was a big 2 because it was 3-2 for a while. The Sox were able to put some runs on the board to get keep the game close at least and all too as well. Soon after, I feel like in the early innings they were able to get some runs on the board and all, but it was a big home run by the Dodgers. Teoscar Hernandez at the deepest part of the park, honestly, too as well. He hit that home run and all too as well, deep to the right center field, more center than right center and all, but still big deep fly for basically to cinch the game for the Dodgers to win game 1 of that series and all too as well. But going into Saturday, we got Crochet Day and all too as well, and he was able to struggled in the first inning and all too as well. Even had me worried because the pitching staff is typical, like I said about Giolito and Bayo against the Cubs and all, giving up some first inning runs, and now Crochet joined the party by giving up first inning runs to Shohei with a home run, and Teoscar Hernandez again showed out with a home run and all too as well. But was able to mow them down and all. Give credit to the Dodgers. Lineup at least on to get his pitch count high. I think he was touching 100 with with the 6 innings that he was able to go at least and all, but struck out 10 guys in that start too as well. Honestly, this now the the offense was still a bit anemic, but as the way I'm laying it out, at least and all they've been clutch. Over this past 9 game stretch and all, they haven't had over 10 hits in any of the games at least and all, but they've been clutch in every in certain situations at least and all. Bregman with the big home run in Game 3 against the Cubs at least and all too as well to avoid a sweep at least and all. Romy Gonzalez and Carlos Narvaez with big home runs in the final game against the Phillies to avoid a sweep at least and all too as well. And then we're going into Game 2. Jarren Duran had 2 triples in that game too as well. I think he had 3 hits overall. Roman Anthony was a big part of that game too as well. Honestly, I think he was the big guy in that game. I mean, he was the big guy in Game 3 too as well. Honestly, but I'll get to that. But yeah, he was big, driving in some runs too as well. Honestly, him and Jarren were huge. I think Jarren had brought in a had a big couple runs, honestly, with his first triple, I believe, too, as well. No, Roman Anthony was able to bring him in, I believe, after one of his triples and all, too, as well, if not like a sac fly or something like that from Trevor Story and all. But still, some guys, Roman Anthony and Jarren Duran have been big for their offense over these last 2 games I'm about to mention. Again, Roman Anthony and Duran 2 triples and all. Duran, I think he had a few. Roman Anthony had a couple RBIs in that game too when with Garrett Crochet starting at least and all too as well. I think they were able to win 5-2 and all too as well. And then the Game 3 and all, Roman Anthony showed out a bit and all too as well. Bregman had his big home run again on a Sunday to help cinch a win and all too as well in the late innings and all. Unfortunately, to how great Buehler was against the Phillies on last Monday, completely different. Maybe you can say a complete 360. I would say 180 because his first 2 innings weren't too bad, at least. And all, it's just the 4. I didn't know about his 4th inning numbers. I know about his 4th inning troubles, but I didn't know about the numbers, at least, and all too as well. And the man was going into the game with like a 13.8 ERA, and from what I saw on the Nesson broadcast, after today's game, it went up to like 14.5 and like 14.05. I saw 14 point and I saw a 5 after, at least, and also it went up from that 13 point something that he was going into the game, and also the 4th inning was a huge struggle for him and all. You can see him getting frustrated too as well. Even I was thrown off when I was watching the game today. This is early in the morning. I'm recording this, and also yesterday when I was watching the game at least, and all. But I was kind of like put aside to why he was so frustrated in the 4th inning, and then Nesson, brought up all the numbers and all too as well. Lou Merlone and Will Brooks we're bringing up the numbers at least and all too as well. And then you can understand his frustration in the 4th because I'm pretty sure he knows about his 4th inning struggles at least and all too as well. I was able to come in the 5th. That's why I say not a complete 360 because after the 4th inning and all, when he gave up the 3 runs, he was able to come into the 5th inning and mow them down, I believe. No, not more than that. I was able to get the first 2 batters out. I think a lefty came up, so that's when Cora decided to make the change to the bullpen at least. No, but still made that 4th inning is just something a weird thing for Buehler right now. That seems like he's gonna have to figure out at least and all. And now we're going into the trade deadline and all too as well. The Sox are gonna be going on the road to be facing on the Minnesota Twins for a 3-game set and all too as well before the MLB Trade Deadline before the end of at the end of the week on Thursday at least on too as well. So it'll be interesting what the Sox do and all. My main proponent would have been a first baseman that the team would have needed first at least and all, but after Hunter Dominguez hurting his knee and all too as well, you got Buehler not pitching so well. You got Richard Fitz has been to me solid for them, but at the end of the day, it's looking like the Sox are in the position to be in the playoff push at least and all. I wouldn't put in my huge marbles into Richard Fitz being a top 4 guy, being a contributor and all moving forward at least and all. A gap guy for sure, but not just a solid contributor at least and all too as well. Bayo has been pretty consistent at least not coming out of the All-Star break. I like how he's pitched. Giolito in the beginning kind of liked it, obviously in the Cubs game, like I said. rough start to the start, but was able to figure out in the end. The Phillies game completely went left on that one too as well. I'm curious how he's going to bounce back from that too as well, based on how he's been pitching. I'll have some belief there, but again, to really rely on as a top three guy now, it is a fair question at least and all too as well. So that'll be interesting what they do with him at least and all too. Not do with him, but just be interesting what the team does with starters at least and all too as well. With the Henry Domin's injury, Tanner Houck is another name that is now looking like. Who knows when we'll see him at least and all too as well back into the rotation, back into the fold at least and all. Pablo Sandoval, my bad, Pedro Sandoval I think his name is at least and all, but he was a free agent signing coming off Tommy John this year too as well. It's looking like he's not coming back anytime soon too as well, honestly. So they are a little bereft starting pitching wise. Obviously Kyle Harrison from the Devers trade is in AAA. Honestly, he's had a few starts and all too as well. From what I heard, his last start was pretty good. I'm not sure if it was his best start out of the start since he's been a Red Sox at least and all, but he's an option too as well. As a starter and all too as well. But going into the trade deadline, I thought first baseman would have been the main priority, honestly, because I think out of all the positions in the lineup, at least now, I feel like it's the most inconsistent on both sides. At least now, you got Willier. We talk about the outfielders and all. Willier Abreu and Jarren Duran, as of late, at least now, we're struggling. We're trending of struggling, I should say. And all, but they bring something defensively, at least in all. Jarren Duran with his base stealing and base pass type of, game, at least in all too as well. They offer something more, at least in all, to the plate, at least in all too as well. I look at Toro and as of late, Romy Gonzalez, at least outside that big grand slam, at least in all too as well. Are okay defensively, at least in all. Romy more okay, or Toro is hitting that below average type of thing defensively, even though he's had some big plays. At least I don't want to completely knock it and all. Then offensively, they've both been inconsistent, at least in all too as well. I think Toro had a big hit, if not like a sac fly, you know what I mean, too as well this past weekend and all. So it's not like they haven't been completely inept, but it does lack stability and consistency and all. So that's why I would personally like a first baseman and all too as well. There are some interesting names out there too as well. I think it's Yadi Diaz. I don't know if I'm saying his name right now, but first baseman with Tampa Bay and all. They've tapered off over the last month. It looks like, honestly, too as well, with the sweep that the Sox had before the All-Star break. It seems like they've been struggling as of late and on. It seems like they may be selling at the trade deadline. Also, he's an interesting name as a first baseman and all too as well. And I would love a Eugenio Suarez and all from Arizona. I saw him playing like first base the other day on my Twitter feed, at least. Also, if he was playing first base and he was capable, definitely would love him and all too as well as a Red Sox and all too as well. It seems like he'll be a high price and all, based off rumors and how the Sox handled themselves with their farm system and all. Seems unlikely and all, but definitely a dream candidate if he's definitely capable of playing first base and all too as well. We don't need another third baseman and all. Unfortunately, Marcelo Meyer has a little wrist injury and all too. So hopefully it's a little wrist injury and all, but he's going to be out for a little bit too. But you have Bergman coming back. You have Story, who's been awesome in my opinion at shortstop and all. If not awesome, just pretty damn solid, honestly, too as well. So you don't need a guy on the left side of the infield and all too as well. Just would love a first baseman for the team and all too as well. Probably make the team a bit deeper and all too as well in the infield side, because we all know how deep they are. Outfield wise, Don Raffaello and another dope play and all too as well. Made a dope play he made a dope play sometime this weekend and all in center field and all, where I think he threw out somebody at second base and all too as well from center field and all. Then he had a double play in the 8th inning and all too as well with a catch at second base and all. Was able to tag the play with his glove and all at a nick of time before the Dodgers base runner was able to get back, and I think it was Kim, Young Kim. I don't know if I'm getting his name right and all too as well. I'm so a novice to baseball these days and all, but still, at least with outsider teams, at least and all too as well. But no, just a huge play by Rafaela and all too as well. So just to the depth of their outfield and all, I would love to add some more depth to the infield. Rafaela playing there is definitely helping and all too as well. A first baseman, I feel like that can give you more stability defensively and all, and they can bring more of a pop off of your in your lineup from the first baseman and all. That'd be great, I feel like, for the Sox and all too as well. But I can't lie, a starting pitcher would be huge and all too as well. I just seen a rumor of them being interested in the Marlins pitcher too as well, honestly. So we'll see. We'll see how things look and all too as well on Thursday and all too as well with the trade deadline looming and all too as well. Obviously a relief pitcher wouldn't hurt and all too as well. And what's another one there? Backup catcher wouldn't hurt, even though Connor Wong had himself an extra base hit this weekend. Was able to get a run into as well, score, not an RBI yet, but was able to score at least on two as well. I am curious though with the first baseman point that I brought up with Christian Campbell will be coming up to play first base and all too as well. Out of all, he started with the team at least on to start the year at least. I don't think I've mentioned him on the podcast at least. I feel like I've only had this is my third episode talking about the Sox, and on the first one was at the Devers trade and all too as well. But young cat, they gave them a big long contract similar to Saddam Rafaela, honestly, and he's been now hitting the tear off the ball in Worcester and all too as well. For the Woo Sox and all too as well. They took away the Pawtucket Sox or the Paw Sox at least, and all sent them all the way to Worcester. And I'll talk about the Pawtucket, Rhode Island Red Sox at least, and all the former AAA affiliate of the team at least, and all too as well. But like I said, Christian Campbell's been tearing up the ball. They've had him play first baseman from what I've seen at least. I'm not sure full time, but I know some of the time he's been playing first baseman or first base down there for the AAA team and all too as well. So I'm curious if they use him to help update the first baseman first base thing too as well, honestly, because if he's able to do the same thing he did earlier this year and all too as well, able to find that groove over again, he'd be a dope bat to have too as well, and you solidify the whole young core thing too as well they got going and all too as well, and all with Roman Anthony doing his thing, Duran, the older side of it too as well, but still a guy that came out of your system at least and all too as well. Rafaela, put him anywhere, it seems like he's going to be doing his thing and all. Marcelo Meyer, even though with that wrist thing, it's coming, should be coming back and all. Even guys like Bayo too as well, honestly, is a Red Sox, farm Red Sox guy at least and all too as well. So this whole young core thing they've been selling, really can, go off and all too as well. I would even add Crochet to that because you had to give up Kyle Teal to give that up too as well, and he was a high-end prospect, catching prospect for the Sox too as well, and I'm pretty sure they gave up another prospect or two. High-end, not high-end. I don't think they were high-end as Kyle Teal at least and all too as well, but it's maybe some, some surefire prospects or some good prospects to get Crochet and all too as well. And looking at him at his age and all too as well, the pure ace of this team and all too as well. So, but yeah, that's what the Red Sox have gone through for this 9-game stretch and all too as well. I am pretty impressed, and honestly too as well. Obviously, I'm a guy who's selfish, and I would like a 6-3, if not 5-4 record after that 9-game stretch and all too as well. But to be fair to what the Sox were facing and all, they faced some tough pitching. I felt like in the first two series of that run against the Cubs and all too as well. They faced a left-hander and a Mana. Please forgive me if I got the name wrong too as well, honestly. And I'm sleeping on someone else that they faced too as well. But he was dope too as well on Sunday, facing Crochet and all too as well. So they faced some tough pitching against the Cubs. Zach Wheeler and Sanchez were dope against the Sox, especially Sanchez. Sanchez was better than Wheeler, and Wheeler was pretty damn good. He couldn't find his location. I think, either down or outside, based off memory at least and all. But he just couldn't find his location at times. Was able to gut through it at least and all too as well. I think it was Jaron Duran hit an early home run off of him too as well. I forgot where they got the other run at least and all, but he cinched it down at least and all too as well. Bueller just pitched better because he was able to get to the 7th inning. I think he was at 90 pitches, 89 pitches or something like that, honestly too as well. So, but yeah, pitching was a big part to why I feel like the offense was struggling in the first 2 series and all too as well. The Dodgers were coming into the series a bit struggling, honestly too as well. There's a big story about them and their pitching all too as well. Apparently from the Fox broadcast that I was watching on Saturday, they've gone through 37 pitchers throughout this season and all, and that's crazy to hear, honestly too as well. So the fact that they're with this loss, I think they're 61-45 in the season and all too as well. So it's pretty impressive where they're sitting. And Mookie Betts is not having a great year. Apparently Teoscar Hernandez too, based off the 2 home runs that I saw this week, and he's having a great year. But apparently he's not having a typical Teoscar Hernandez type of year and all too as well. big playoff performer Kike Hernandez is not even playing right now for them too as well. So a team that's struggling but still number one in the West and all too as well. I don't think they have the best record right now, 'cause I know the Milwaukee Brewers are hot as fish grease. Yeah, I took that from Mark Jones and all. But yeah, but nah, I know they're sitting right there as one of the tops in the NL and all. Philly should be right there too as well, honestly. But I'm pretty sure it could be Milwaukee that's going on leading it right now, because they've been hot. You know what I mean? The Blue Jays have been pretty hot as it comes to an AL team and all too as well. But the Brewers have been pretty damn hot. And when we talk about the landscape of the MLB at least and all too as well. I hear what's it called, the journalists or guys that follow the game, pundits that follow the game and all, are hoping that the Brewers do something and all too as well. And to be fair, to be real at least, and all, the Brewers have been a team that have gone hot and gone to the playoffs thinking they would make some noise and would sit there losing the first round, if not these days the wild card round that the MLB's added on to as well and also. But yeah, that's basically what I got and all too as well. These are the Sox and all too as well. We're not gonna get too high or low too as well. We know they can ruin the summer real quick and all, but to the point of a podcast I was just listening to as well, you should expect relevant baseball in August and all too as well. September you'll see at least and all too as well. But even though with this rough skid that they've had, going 2-4 in those series against the Phillies and the Cubs, at least and all, I don't think they're downtrodden, unlike some other teams in the AL East and all too as well. But we won't mention those teams too as well. So we'll keep it clean and all too as well until that team comes into a series near you and all, which would be in August and all too as well. But I appreciate you guys for listening and all too as well. Again, if you guys are on the YouTube side, press on that subscribe button to help support the podcast and all. And if you guys are listening on the podcast platform side, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Overcast, and all too as well, please leave a rating and add us to our library for any future podcasts that we'll be dropping and all too as well. Seems like I'm going to be on the Boston Red Sox run. It seems like at this moment all too as well. We'll have a preview, little preview for the NFL and all too as well. We got the 2025 season coming up, and there's some interesting storylines that I'm not gonna lie are coming up and all too as well. Dead time in sports and all too as well. So I am blessed that the Sox are making some relevant news to put, to drop some content on the podcast and all too as well. So I appreciate you guys listening, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.